अंदर पानी पूरी लगा बर्फ इथली ठंडा अछि मन पूरी 5-10 मिनट
Good evening, sir.
Good evening to you all. Welcome to the session.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Very good evening to you all. So by this time only 35 are in the link. So let some other participants join, then we'll start. 2 or 3 minutes we will wait. Am I audible?
Okay, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes,
Manasi,
sir.
am I audible? Lakshmi Priya?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, Rasmita. Your study center is there are 7 study centers joined.
Sir, study center ru group kara hela ki?
Pardon?
Study center ru group kara hela ni ki?
No, you must have been given the study center. Where
Sir,
you will be submitting your assignment to the study center.
sir group re mu add heuni.
Now you add yourself.
Okay, sir.
But sir, officially study center not created.
Not given.
No.
No, sir.
But they will give because otherwise how can you submit your assignment? They will give you after counseling.
Okay. We all students create a group.
Pardon?
We all students create a group of state group and others study center group, but officially not announce any group.
Achha, okay. But you have created your own group for your there are two, one A section, B section. This belongs to A section as per the timetable. 5 study centers are included under A section. Have you
No,
gone
sir.
through the timetable? Have you gone through the timetable?
No, sir. 2 group are including. Second
No.
group is already cancelled.
No. My point is group A, group B. In group A, there are 2106 to 7 study centers are included.
Group A, B already joined. After 1 day, group B counseling, 2 group are added.
Achha. But have you received that? Have you seen the timetable they have sent?
Same timetable. Only link is difference, but after 1 day class, second group, the link is same.
No, but the resource person is different.
But after 1 day class, we got receive a mail. There is mentioned that second group is deleted, and this link is the link. One link is provide. Then tell this link is all group for all group.
But I do not know. But as per the timetable which has been sent in the website, it has been written. These are the resource persons for 7 centers, study centers.
Right, sir.
In group B, 8 study centers.
It's right, sir.
Total 15 in Odisha. There are 15 study centers. That means 15 into each center 50. So 75 learners. 750 learners.
Hmm.
Should we start?
As per first mail,
Huh.
our counselor will be Pramod Chandra Das. But after one day,
Dr. Pramod Chandra Das.
but after 1 day class, the first group link provide, and you are our counselor.
Now, there are two groups as per the timetable. Group 1, Group B. In group A, I will be taking this PU, that is your BES-122. For Group B, somebody else. Similarly, for pedagogy for English, for your childhood and growing up.
First day class, Mr. Vijay Kumar Das.
Vijay Kumar Das.
Das. Then starting class group B, one group B is deleted. Only one group is continue.
Acha. Oh. Okay. Should we start or should we wait for some time? By this time, 48 have joined. Now it is
Start
7.
करंतु sir.
Okay.
Sir, start करंतु.
We'll start. So let me welcome you all heartily to this evening session. And just one day back, in my yesterday class, we have seen that education is linked with the development of a nation, or we can say national development depends upon how people are educated. For example, that the best example is Japan. The territory of Japan country is small, but the people are industrial, the people are very educated, responsible, therefore they are prosperous. The prosperity is very much visible in Japan. So the point is that national development depends upon the system of education or education. Therefore, the progress of a country depends upon the progress of nation. And now the progress of education of the country depends upon the policy frameworks. That means what kind of policies, programs you are undertaking so that people will be educated, and being educated, they can contribute to the welfare of the country. So therefore, policies regarding education, for example, NCF 2005, NCF T for 2009 for teachers. Now we have many policies. Can anyone tell me the first national policy on education was started in 1968?
1960.
By this time, we have 4 national policies. That is a kind of framework. We have suggested many policies. For example, what kind of education should be provided to the learners belonging to disadvantaged group, or we call it marginalized group. So therefore, we can say this policy framework is a kind of normative education. Policy provides a normative environment. Normative means what are the standards, norms, so that education of different categories be given. So we have to make policy. There will be no standard policy. For example, one kind of policy will be for the weaker sections. For example, SC, ST, nomads, like a hilly area students, like that. Because we believe in equity. So therefore, we have to make a policy. Therefore, this block, BES-122, the block is concerned with policy framework for education in India. This block consisted of 4 units. For example, Unit 5, Unit 1, 2, 3, 4 in Block 1. Unit 5, Unit 6, Unit 7, Unit 8. These are the 4 blocks through which we the writers, or we have covered the different policies of education in India. For example, let us take the case of Block 2, Unit 5. The title is Development of Education in India Before Independence. We got independence in 1947. Before that, education was there. For example, in the Gurukula system, education was there. British also were also British have taken care of education in India. Also, Muslims, rulers, medieval period, education during the medieval period, Muslims have taken their education in India, like that. That has been talked about in Unit 5. That therefore the title and the title of the unit is Development of Education in India Before Independence. Then in Unit 6, Development of School Education from 1947, just we got independence, 47 to 64. That means in 64, we have constituted one commission, which you know, Kothari Commission, up to Kothari Commission. So what are the position of school education from just after independence, 47 to 1964? Here, for example, secondary education, your university education commission, then secondary education commission, then your second and third 5-year plans. What are the policies they have suggested? Those are covered. Then in the blocks 3, that is Unit 7, sorry, Block 2, Unit 7, development of school education right from 1964 to 1985. So in this unit, it has been well discussed about the recommendations of Education Commission 1964-66, National Education Policy 68, that was the first policy, like that. The last unit, that is the Unit 8 of Block 2, the name of the block is Development of School Education in 1986 and after. So therefore, in this block, the National Policy on Education 86, then revised policy 92, that revised policy is otherwise known as POA, Program of Action 92. Then National Knowledge Commission, which was headed by your Sam Pitroda in 2006 to 9. Then National Curriculum Framework 2005. Then National Curriculum Framework for Teacher Education 2009. So then different plan periods that has been discussed. But actually, because these units have been written before the new education policy came into being, so therefore new education policy is not included. But it is not necessary for you, but you should know it. So somehow these are the 4 units: Unit 5, Unit 6, Unit 7, Unit 8. So all these are related to how the system, present system of education in India, that has come into being. So there are different phases: before independence, after independence. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Now
sir.
let us come to the first unit, Development of Education in India Before Independence. And that means before 1947, what was the situation, status of education in India? In the beginning part, for example, let us talk about ancient Indian education system. Ancient, in the old age, ancient time, India is a rich tradition of learning and education from the beginning of the civilization. That means from the very dawn of civilization, we Indians, we have thought of that we must be educated. Therefore, there are 2 systems. One is your this ancient period covers the Vedic period or post-Vedic period. That is the widespread policy of the Vedic tradition, followed the norms as laid down in the Vedas and Smritis. Smriti means just listening. The Guru was telling that Gurukula system, and the disciple, not student. The term was disciple, Shishya. They were listening to Guru. So the Ved means knowledge. So therefore, also another way to look at this period is you're talking about Buddhist system of education. So ancient period talks about the Brahminic system, Buddhist system, Jainism system, or Veda system, how they were influencing the system of education. The basic objective of education was, during the ancient period, was emancipation, moksha, sa vidya, ja vimukta, as Upanishad said. That was the basic principle. So therefore, let me tell you the unique features of ancient Indian education. The state and society did not interfere with the curriculum of studies or a regulation of the payment of fees. So there is no interference. So therefore, it was free from interference. It was compulsory and fully residential. So in ancient period, education was residential. That means the disciples were staying with the gurus and helping in different works side by side. They were told Vedas, Smritis, something like Upanishad, something like that. Care was laid on the developing personal relation between teacher and taught. So good relationship. So harmonious relationship, cordial relationship, amicable relationship between teacher and taught, guru and shishya. That was the tradition, parampara. Education was absolutely free and teacher looked after the primary needs of the student. So in those days, in the Vedic period, ancient period, education was totally free. Therefore, the kings, the rulers, they were providing funds, or the disciples, even the guru, they were collecting alms, something like that. Even some rich people, they were giving donations, something like that. The ancient system of education, Indian education, advocated the dignity of labor. You must have heard that the disciples, they were not acquiring knowledge. They were also collecting fuels, collecting water, storing water, helping the guru, and these are somehow physical labor, manual labor was emphasized, so that the disciples should feel that labor is not estimated something, not rated low. Also, we must the labor must be dignified. Then the ancient system of education advocated the dignity of labor. Then education in ancient India was more of the seminar kind, where students used to learn through discussion and debate. So nowadays we are all teachers. Mostly our teaching is mostly lecturing. In the lecturing, sometimes you are doing activity, something, or you are writing blackboard, something. But in ancient period, discussion, as it happens in seminar. What happens in seminar? The presenter presents on any topic, then it initiates. So it initiates some kind of discussion. Then we can debate. If you do not like, if you not liking, but you do, if you disagree, then you can raise, no, it is not like that, it is like this. So there is debate. So that kind of thing was there during the ancient period. So therefore, education, access to education was there. The access to education means free. Everybody was free to get education. Similarly, for example, what was there in the curriculum? For example, there was arts. Kings and princes were educated in arts and sciences related to government, politics, economics, philosophy, historical tradition, like that. These are the subjects. Also, Vedas, Vedangas, Upanishads, Darshanas, all these are included. During the Buddhist system of education, the main subject of study were the three Pitakas. It's like that. So this was the curriculum. Then regarding financing, how education was financed during the ancient period, education in ancient India was free for all students. Vedic and post-Vedic period, the Vidyadhan was considered, giving education, Vidyadhan was considered as a higher order in society. Therefore, it was somebody was donating something like that, or the disciples are collecting something like that. So the teacher, and there was a harmonious relationship between teacher and taught. This is in nutshell. It is not difficult for understanding. Then after ancient period, before independence, another phase of education is your education in medieval period, when Muslim Islamic people were ruling. So education in medieval period. So therefore, education in medieval period of India flourished mostly during the Mughal rule from the beginning of 1526 AD. Therefore, education was mostly they founded primary education. Maktab. Maktab was the primary education institution for the Muslims. In which the students learn reading in the primary classes of a Muslim system of education, that Maktab. Hello? The learning reading, writing, and basic Islamic prayers. And at the secondary schools, madrasas. So primary is Maktab for the Muslim, and for secondary, it is your madrasas. To teach advanced languages, Arabic and Persian. But
Sunita madam, mic time mute korandu.
No. This was about Muslim institutions. Let us come to Hindu system. Also, though the rulers were Muslims, but they were also taking care of Hindu education system. Hindu education was imparted in pathasalas, usually run in a temple. There is no separate hall or room like ours. We have schools, but in those days, pathasalas were run in the temple. And education continued to be self-directed and self-controlled. That means how you can control the different impulses. You can control your, as Bhagavad Gita says, that is your stita prajna. Neither too happy if the moment is happy moment, nor do too unhappy if the situation is not favoring. So therefore, it can be possible through self-control. So therefore, they were completely autonomous and self-managing. This is about Hindu. Self-autonomous, you are autonomy, no control by other people. And also, you are managing yourself. How to do, what kind of education will be given, at what time. This is all efforts of yours. Then, during this medieval period, the state did not have a policy. There was no policy like today's for educating the entire masses. Universal education did not seem to be the aim. Nowadays we are talking about universal aim, universal education for all. This is the aim. But in those days, if you are interested to learn, you come and you learn, or you may not learn. But that was like that. Then what are the curriculum? Curriculum varied from place to place. This was a flexible curriculum from place to place. But in our case, we have a standardized curriculum. All over India, more or less, the standards are given, normative curriculum. Curriculum varied from place to place, but the teaching of alphabet and the recitation of Quran was almost compulsory. This is for Muslim. Similarly, the salient feature of the curriculum was to relate religious education with the Greek philosophy. For the practitioners of medicine, syllabus was different. Those who want to practice medicine, the syllabus was different. So that was like this. Then education under the colonial rule, colonial British. Colonial era started with the establishment of East India Company. You all know the history says East India Company came to India for mercantile, for a business purpose, for trade. So in the name of business, they started giving education and something like that, and they started to control the Indians. So therefore, there was Charles Grant, one of the directors of the company, wrote a book in 1792 using the British government to introduce Western education. Now they started introducing Western education in India. Anyhow, then there is a policy which you call Orientalist policy. Two are there. One is Anglicist policy, another is Oriental policy. Oriental means classical language, Sanskrit, Hindi, like Urdu, something like that. So those who are the strong believer of Orientalist policy, they give much emphasis on the Sanskrit, Arabic languages, indigenous languages of India. That is Sanskrit, Arabic, Persian. But those who are in favor of Anglicists, they give more emphasis on English. That was the basic difference. For example, Macaulay. Let us take the case of Macaulay. He talks about that English should be the medium of instruction. So therefore, more number of English schools were opened. Anyhow, then education under the imperial rule. So now, under the British Parliament had taken care of this. It was the we are discussing about education under imperial rule. It was a policy that. Pardon?
Imperial rules means which period?
I will be talking. So it was, what is that imperial? It was a policy that the company had to take orders about education after every 20 years from the British Parliament. Before that, nobody was, for example, during East India Company, nobody was taking care and taking permission to start education or to open English medium schools for the education of the Indians. But here in 1813, an act has come that that act says that if any organization wants or anybody wants to open schools in India, then they will take permission from the British Parliament. That is imperial. British Parliament will give the permission to start opening up schools or for education. So therefore, it was your Woods, we call Woods Despot. So hence in 1854, a parliamentary committee under the chairmanship of Mr. Charles Wood was appointed to survey the educational progress in India. So it was your Charles Wood who was appointed to make a survey regarding the progress of education in India. So that after survey, then they will know the need of the education of India, how much, how many. Therefore, a survey was undertaken. So that was known as Woods Despot in 1854. Then education under direct British rule, under imperial rule. If some agency is going to spread education to open schools, then necessary permission will be taken from British Parliament. That is system. Now, what is happening under education under direct British rule? Now the Britishers, they have come directly to start education, to propagate education. So in 1857, after the failure of the first war of independence, the rule of the company came to an end. So now the rule of the imperial rule came to an end. Indian territories came under the direct rule of the British. Now, because of their rule was over, so now India was ruled directly by the Britishers. So therefore, the government of India, which was under British Parliament, they started 3 universities. One is Calcutta, another is Madras, now Chennai, Madras, and Mumbai. So these universities were started for the propagation of education in India. Also, primary education, during this period, primary education suffered a lot when the first Indian Education Commission, which was otherwise known as Hunter Commission, that was sometimes it is asked. So which was the first Indian Education Commission during British period? That was your Hunter Commission, 1882. So which was appointed to study the implementation of Woods Despot. Before that, Woods Despot has surveyed the education system of progress of education in India. And on that basis, that education will be given. Now, your Hunter Commission again made a review about the Woods Despot. So as to examine the status of the state-sponsored education in each provinces, like that. Then development of education during 1902 to 1921, about 2 decades. During this period, Lord Curzon was appointed as the Governor General in India in 1899. So during his period or tenure, 7 years, his tenure was for 7 years. He paid attention toward the reform of Indian education. So it was Curzon who has seriously made a thought to make some reform in Indian education so that the system of education will be acceptable to the Indians. This was also a period of social reform in India. Actually, Lal Curzon was much interested to make education in India most accessible to the Indians. Therefore, Lal Curzon convened a secret education conference at Simla. Therefore, the conference continued for 15 days and every aspect of Indian education, starting from primary to university, was discussed. So this is known as Simla conference. It was discussed there. So then education development under hierarchy. That means education was under 2 administrative heads. Let us see. After First World War, people of India forced the British government to transfer its power to Indian. So now the British government wants to transfer to Indians. Hence, on the basis of Montego-Chelmsford report, government passed an act. What is that act? The act was Government of Indian Act 1999. Sorry, 1990. So what is that act? Which was introduced after 2 years, 1921. This act, which act? Government of India Act 1919. So this act introduced hierarchy in the provinces in which subjects of administration were divided into 2 categories. So earlier it was 1, administration was 1. Now under the hierarchy, administration of in Indian education was under 2 administrative heads. Let us see 2 categories. Certain subjects were reserved to be administered by governor and executive council. So some of the aspects of Indian education will be administered by governor and executive councils. On the other hand, while other subjects were transferred to councillors and ministers. So this is the 2 divisions of administration. One is, so there are some subjects which can be taken care of by governor and executive councils. Also, there are some subjects which will be taken care of by the councillors and ministers. This is the hierarchy in education system, so that education system can be taken proper care. Now, education under provincial autonomy. Now, provinces or states were given some kind of autonomy. That period is 1937 to 1946-47. This decade was the last period of colonial rule. That means the colonial rule ended by 1947. That means after that we got independence. Now the Government of India Act, the Government of India Act 1935. So in 1935, the act was there, Indian Government of India Act, that has abolished hierarchy and gave autonomy to the provincial government. Before that, we have seen education administration was under some aspect of education was under your executive councils and governor. This is one. And some kind of education aspects were taken care of by or administered by the councillors, something like that. So therefore, there are many problems. So in order to remove those problems, now state autonomy or provincial autonomy was given, autonomy to the provincial government. The structural hurdles and difficulties in the financing of education are reduced. So when some aspects of education are under this administration, like councillor, and some others are under councillors, so definitely there will be problem. So this says no, this is the aspect ours, we will finance. They say no, it is our, we will finance. So there are problems. Therefore, state provincial autonomy was given. Then another is your origin and development of basic education. Now, because of our freedom movement under the leadership, able leadership of Gandhiji, we are marching towards independence, 47, like that. So now Gandhiji was talking about your Noitalim, that is your basic education. Why? By that time, India has to be managed by itself. So therefore, Gandhiji could find that India is a land of villages. If the village cottage industry or village related industry are not given, if the basic education, basic means minimum education, which is essential for living. So therefore, basic education that was thought of. Therefore, All India National Educational Conference was organized under the partners presidency of Mahatma Gandhi on October 22nd, 23rd in 1947 at Wardha. It is known as Wardha. So therefore, this conference is known as Wardha Education Conference. In this conference, a resolution. What are the resolution? A resolution was passed giving importance to free and compulsory education. That means primary education should be free and compulsory. That was the resolution in your Wardha conference. Anyhow, then Dr. Zakir Hussain committee submitted 2 aspect reports like that. It was there. That is not necessary. This is all about another is your education as a subordinate social system. So it is universally acknowledged that education is already we have seen education is a subsystem, society is a system. So therefore, in order to capture the essence of the development in the field of education through the ages, it is necessary to have an understanding of the role of education in a given society. Since the society, why? Since the structure of society is different. Hindu society structure, the structure of Muslim society, the structure of Christian society, the Western society, they are different. So therefore, before talking about the education of that society, we must understand the framework of the society, the structure of the Indian that society, so that we can think of proper education for that society. So this is all about your Unit 5, education, development of education before independence. Now let us come to Unit 6, development of school education from 1947 to 1964. That means after independence until the Indian Education Commission was established at the Kothari Commission. So let us see. So when we got independence, when our freedom fighters or the social reformers, they thought of education of India, definitely they must thought of to make a survey. What is the status of education, school education in India, so that something tangible efforts will be made. So therefore, according to the first 5-year plan, it was started. According to the first 5-year plan, the overall structure of the education system was defective in many ways. So when by that time we had the first 5-year plan, every 5 years we are making a plan. So education system was taken care of, and they could find some of the difficulties. For example, there was a lack of balance between provisions of facilities for different sections of society. That means in the society there are different sections. For example, SC, ST, boys, female, marginal, like that. So that kind of facilities were not made available as per the demand of the different sections. So that was the problem. So it was then also the various stages of education system: primary, secondary, pre-primary, college, higher education, the stages. The various stages of the education system were not clearly and rationally marked out. For example, in my time, maybe in your time, in my time, there was after matriculation, we had intermediate arts or intermediate science or intermediate commerce, IA, ISC, ICOM. That was under the university. Now after +2, then council. So new systems we have started anyhow. Now by this time, we have a basic education system. Gandhiji was not talking about that minimum basic education should be given, reading, writing, arithmetic, so that primary education should be compulsory. After that, the first commission which we have after independence, or we call it the first post-independent commission. That is your University Education Commission 1948-49 under the chairmanship of Dr. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan. It is known as University Education Commission or Radhakrishnan Commission. So let us see what are the aims of education according to your University Education Commission. It has been well told that the aims of university education. Is there any question? Rasmita? Okay. The aims of university education have to be articulated by the commission in the following words. What are the words? We cannot preserve real freedom unless we preserve the values of democracy. That means the most important aspect which has been given top priority for the university education was respect the values. Values as is required for a democratic country, because we are the Democrats. India was a democratic country. So universities must stand for these ideal causes, values, democratic values. So therefore, if we do not have the necessary intelligence and ability to work out these purposes, that means for working out this, we require intelligence, we want ability to work. So therefore, education should, higher education should emit, or university should, because that was for university education. So therefore, university education should be directed to promote the values related to democratic principles. So therefore, education should emit development of education, means university education, not school education. University education should be directly related to the value system of democracy. Now, regarding teaching staff of the university, who will teach the students of university or colleges? So teaching staff. So it has been told, for example, the importance of teachers and their responsibility should be recognized. That means the teachers should be given appropriate status. Promotion from one category to another should be solely on grounds of merit. So on the basis of merit, not nowadays on the basis, not on the basis of merit. How we get promotion? On the basis of the experience. 20 years like this, 15 years like this. But Radhakrishnan Commission says, no. If this, if that teacher is not meritorious, if the teacher doesn't have that merit, why should we give a promotion? Similarly, standard of teaching. It has said admission to the university courses should correspond to that of the present intermediate examination. That was like that. It is not necessary. Similarly, course of study. Students will be admitted to college and universities in the faculties of arts and science and in professional schools after successful completion of 12 years of schooling. That means now they +2. In my time, IA, intermediate. So therefore, after completion of intermediate, now the students come to the college, definitely college. Both universities and secondary schools should begin the study of the theory and practice of general education. Both sides, theory and practice. For example, nowadays we are doing the theory part is covered. For example, democracy. This has been completed by the teacher. Now the teacher will give you a practical project. Mind the students, you did 20 students. You are the group 1. You should go and collect necessary information from that high school to see whether these democratic values are practiced by the teacher or not. Freedom, fraternity, equality of opportunity, like that. Whether the teacher is making distinction or distinguishing the students or not. So make a survey. Similarly, for example, you have talked about, say, Ramsa, Rashtriya Madhyamika Shiksha Abhiyan. Now, a group of students will be told, you go to that high school and see how the different objectives of Ramsa are fulfilled there, whether fulfilled or not. Like that. That was practical, project work. Then medium of instruction. According to the University Education Commission, whichever form in Hindi is ultimately chosen by that time, official language was Hindi. So therefore, English be replaced as early as possible as the medium of instruction for higher education of India. So like that. Similarly, regarding examination, a thorough study of the scientific methods of education testing. So Whenever you are going to examine, conducting examination, you must see thoroughly that scientifically how that examination is effective. For example, how many long question, how many short question, how many objective question, or which chapters will be given more importance. If that chapter will be given more importance, that topic will be given more importance. Why? Now we call in your assessment. That means we have to prepare a blueprint. So what is a blueprint? A blueprint is a three-dimensional chart which displays the weightages to be given to the content. This is number one, first dimension. Number two dimension, weightages to be given to the objectives. This is second dimension. Third dimension is weightages to be given to the type of question, form of question, long question, short question, objective question. So therefore, these are the blueprint, so that more scientific. If the questions are prepared according to the blueprint, for example, there are 5 chapters in English or history. Now, in chapter 1, your blueprint says that you will be asking only one long question, one short question, no objective question. But when you are framing the question, there is no long question, one short question, one objective question. That means if that is there, there is mismatching between your blueprint and the questions which you asked. Therefore, when you have prepared a blueprint, that blueprint will act as a kind of mirror. That blueprint will specify what type of question and how many that type of question will be asked in that chapter. Therefore, the other name of blueprint is table of specification. That table specifies that in this chapter, how many questions will be asked. Then, how many questions from long questions, how many short questions, how many objective questions. Now, this has been told. When you are going to prepare, for example, there will be one long question. So only one long question. Only one short question. Only one short question from that chapter. But you are telling one long question, asking 2 questions in that chapter 1. Wrong. So therefore, it gives a direction. Anyhow, so scientific. Women education. Educational opportunity for women should be increased. By that time, when India was just getting the freedom, many taboos were there, many blind beliefs were there. Indians, we are not so much aware of the education. Therefore, Gandhiji has rightly told that to educate a man is to educate a man, but to educate a woman is to educate a family. Because maybe mother, for example, mother is taking care of children, mother is taking care of grandfather, mother is taking care of husband, mother is taking care of uncle, many are there. So giving proper guidance. So therefore, mother is the first teacher of all the students, anyhow, teacher. So therefore, women education ought to be taken care of. Now let us come to Secondary Education Commission. Secondary Education Commission, 1952-53. So, under the chairmanship of Lakshmana Swamy, it was constituted. So, Lakshmana Swamy was the chairman of Secondary Education Commission. Therefore, Secondary Education Commission is otherwise known as Lakshmana Swamy Commission. So, basically, the thrust was on secondary education. So, therefore, the basic purpose, Dr. Lakshmana Swamy Mudaliar Committee, Vice Chancellor of Madras University, he was the chairman, Lakshmana Swamy Mudaliar. So it is known as Mudaliar Commission. Now, regarding the pattern of education.
Sir, what is the meaning of A Lakshmana Swamy?
A stands for some, it is not clear told, you can get from internet.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Dr. A Lakshmana, in South pattern, A will that first letter will be either for the father or this is the pattern, Tamil Nadu or Chennai, something like that. The first name will stand for the father or grandfather or for goddesses or god.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
That was their system. So he was the vice chancellor, then vice chancellor Madras University. He was a professor. So he was studying the pattern of secondary education. Therefore, secondary education should commence after 4 or 5 years of primary or junior basic. But nowadays, after 8 years, after 8th class, you are going to secondary. But he has suggested that after 4 to 5 years, that means from class 6 to 7, so it is secondary. Anyhow, the present intermediate stage should be replaced by the higher secondary. Now, the +2 system, it was suggested by Secondary Education Commission, like this. Similarly, residential day schools should be established in suitable centers for developing recreational and extracurricular activities. Like that, you can read it and you can get it. Then regarding language, what does it say? Secondary Education Commission or Mudalaya Commission? Mother tongue or a regional language should be the medium of instruction. Now we are following. During the middle school stage, 6th, 7th, every child should be taught at least 2 languages. For example, in class 6th or 7th, minimum 2. For example, mother tongue, in case of Odisha, mother tongue is Odia and foreign language is English. Like that. Then higher secondary, at least 2 languages should be studied, one of which must be mother tongue and another regional language. Regarding curriculum, what does your Secondary Education Commission say? At the middle school stage, the curriculum should include languages, social studies, general sciences, mathematics, art, music, craft, physical education. It was suggested. But when I was a student of class 6, class 7, even class 8, class 9, no music class was there, no craft was there, no physical education somehow, it was there somehow, art was not there, only mathematics, science, history, geography. But it was suggested. Why? Education should develop the different, all dimensions of child. So all-round development, that was to be taken. You know, to cater to the all dimensions of a man, a child. So we must make provision. Similarly, diversified courses of study should be included, like humanities, sciences, technical subjects, commercial subjects, agricultural subjects, fine arts, home science, so that we are providing diversity. But in our case, arts, science, commerce. If for arts, history, geography, like that. If for science, physics, chemistry, mathematics. So it is not like that. In foreign countries, it is not like that. Any subject you can take, because you have to study. A student has to study. You can take physics, history, economics, business management, as you like. So, but in India, we have not provided. Why? Now, if you make such combination, a large number of combination, a large number of teachers will be appointed. It will be costly. That is the reason. Then a method of teaching. How can the teacher teach at the high school level, secondary level? The methods of teaching in the schools should have the aim not merely at the imparting. So whatever aims, whatever method you as a teacher adopt, the only aim should not be to give to impart knowledge. Knowledge imparting is not important. For example, I used to say, you can tell me, this is one of the methods which I used to follow. Fast last or last fast. Now you ask a student to tell a word, either Odia or English. For example, in English, it is war, W-A-R. Now I am using last fast. Last is your R. Now make another word with R. Red, T, another word, tiger, R. Now the student, we call it language game. So interesting, the student. Now that way you are increasing the, improving the vocabulary of the students. Anyhow, so knowledge is not to be, knowledge is not the imparted through method. Although also it inculcates desirable values and proper attitudes and habits. For example, I will give you one example. So some of you might be teaching mathematics. Are you teaching mathematics? Anyone? Some of the teachers might be teaching mathematics. For example, at the class 1 or 2 or 3, you are teaching multiplication. Now, you are teaching like this. Your friend, Hari every day speaks 5 lies. In a week, how many lies are to be spoken by Hari? Now, 5 into 7, 1 week is 7 days. So 5 into 7 days, so 35. Now the student will tell, sir, 5 into 7 is equal to 35. That means within the week, Hari is speaking 35 lies. Now the student will catch sir, why 35? I will speak 100 lies. So you are teaching multiplication, but why not you make your multiplication, the teaching method, through a value system? Now you can say, all right, every day your father or your mother gives you 10 rupees for your pocket money. And you as a student, you do not spend every day 10 rupees. You save 5 rupees. You spend out of 10, 5 and save 5. In a month, how much money you can save? So 5 into 30, so 150. Now saving is a good habit. So value based. Similarly, Mithwa Radha, now what you want to speak? Now Satya. All right. If your friend Mamali speaks every day 10 truth, for example, speaking truth. So how many truths will be spoken in 1 month? So 30, like that. Now the students will not know. You are not imparting the knowledge of multiplication. Side by side, indirectly, you are injecting a value. So that is therefore, education should be value based. That is, the method of teaching should take care of that. Teaching method should provide opportunity for the student to learn actively. Now we are calling active learning, joyful learning. That what your Professor Jaspal said. So learning is there, but whether the students are passively learners or really they are participating. So as a teacher, whatever method you follow, sometimes I have seen the teachers have many materials, technology, but the students are not giving attention. The students are not interested. Why? The teacher himself, I believe, the teacher, when the teacher says, so what is the best method? I say the teacher himself is the best method. Whatever method you follow, if you are unable to transact, if you are unable to speak, if you are unable to interact with the student, if you are not behaving properly to the student, then what method you follow, whether you are using computer, whether you are using technology, that will become a failure. So therefore, we must see that method of teaching should encourage the student to participate and make the learning joyful. Anyhow, so therefore, education was for character development. So character education, that was there. Therefore, different programs like NCC, Fast Aid, NSS, like that we are taken care of. That was given emphasis. Regarding examination and evaluation, the tenure of external examination should be reduced, and the element of subjectivity in essay type.
So students are requested to join the class. Please, sir, allow them.
No, I cannot allow. IGNOU will allow.
Okay, sir.
You can request IGNOU.
Their message in the group.
No, they should be included in the group. So that is the task of IGNOU. Asif Hunzo.
Okay, sir. Okay.
So I cannot do because that joining with them. I have been given the link, so that I am using the link and I am talking to you. Okay. So please tell them that they should contact the IGNOU so that they can be linked. Anyhow, regarding examination, it has clearly told that we must try to minimize subjectivity. When for example, when the long questions are there, the same answer paper, if it is examined by you, you give out of 10, 9. When I examine the same paper, I give 6. Why? Now you feel, oh, there is content. When I feel, no, content is not there. Content is there. Language is not there. Grammar is not wrong grammar, so less mark. So now what can you do? This is what we call scorer variability. Your scoring is different from my scoring. You are an examiner. I am an examiner. But the same student is given different mark. So therefore, for that purpose, objective type question, fill up the gaps, matching type, something like that. There should be only one public examination at the completion of secondary. So one public examination. Now we are doing. In my time, I do not know what happened in your case. In my time, class 8, class 9, class 10, class 11, metric examination, 4 year, from 4-year courses, questions were there. Only subject type question, long question, no subject type. Answer any 5 questions out of 10 questions. 2.5 an hour. So like that. Now it is said, now only one examination will get. The system of compartmental examination should be compartmentalized. If you have failed in one subject, two subjects, you will appear only in those two subjects in which you fail. Then, first 5-year plan. So it is suggested a reorientation of the education system and integration of its different stages and branches. So integration means primary stage, secondary stage, integrated, correlated. Secondary stage, college stage should be integrated. Similarly, there are different branches, chemistry with history, geography with mathematics. So there should be correlation so that it will be interesting. Similarly, expansion of various fields, especially in those of basic and social education. So we must, on the basis of Gandhi's thought, basic education, craft center education will be emphasized. It has been told like that. Similarly, basic and secondary education was given. Similarly, in second 5-year plan, larger emphasis on basic education, expansion of elementary education, diversification of secondary courses, secondary education, improvement of standard of college and university education, and extension of facilities. These are suggested. Similarly, third 5-year plan, the main emphasis in the third 5-year plan, because every 5 years we are making planning. Third 5-year plan was on the provision of facilities for the education of all children. We have different category of children. For example, special, in those days, special education. For whom? For the special children. Who are the special children? Blind, that is visually impaired, hearing impaired, physically handicapped, like that. But nowadays, after that, we call it disabled children. Now we are calling differently abled, bhinnakhyama. Agul go to akhyama. No, why akhyama? Better term is different level. They are able, but in a different way. So that is the best term. Therefore, the third 5-year plan suggested different type of facilities, keeping in mind the different category of children. This is all about the development of school education during the period of 1947 to 64. Now, Unit 7. Let us see what is the status of education. Pardon? What is the development of school education from 1964 to 1985? 85. That means after Kothari, by the time of Kothari Commission up to the new educational policy to come out, 86. Before that. So let us see. Now, you know the Education Commission, which is otherwise known as Kothari Commission. What is Kothari? Professor D.S. Kothari or Dr. D.S. Kothari. Daulat Singh Kothari. He was the then chairman of UGC, University Grants Commission. He was the chairman. He was a man of professor of physics originally. So therefore, a commission was constituted under the chairmanship of Kothari to look to the different stages of education. This was the commission which was given, which was assigned to study the different problems, perspectives of different stages of education. For example, primary, secondary, college or university, then professional, technical, like that. Now, the essence of Commission's report is like this. Regarding education in India, Indian education needs a drastic, after making the study of different education system, primary, secondary, college, like that, it says like this: Indian education needs a drastic reconstruction, almost a revolution. The kind of education which we give, either at the primary level or at the secondary level or at the university level, that is not sufficient. That was not according to the demand of the time. So therefore, there is a drastic. This was the that was the feeling. That was the feeling of Kothari. So therefore, there should be drastic change. The major reconstruction needed are in these areas. There should be some kind of reconstruction, such as improvement in the effectiveness of primary education. So primary education should be effective. Introduction of work experience as an integral part of the general education. For example, we start from secondary. We have vocational education. Then vocationalization of secondary education. Improvement of the quality of teachers at all levels. So by through training, for example, nowadays we are talking about training of teachers, and every 2 years, once at least every teacher should go. There are two types of training. One is thematic training, another is a content enrichment training. What is content enrichment? If you are teaching mathematics or science, so when there is the conduct of training in science, you will go. Your headmaster or administrator will depute you. Similarly, this is mathematics, science, geography, English, history, like that. That comes under content enrichment. You can enrich your content in the subject in which you are teaching. Then another is your thematic, theme-based. Now new things are coming, new concepts are coming. For example, 5B model, new model. So you must know it. Otherwise, how can you transact? How can you implement? Another is your when it was coming, that is your continuous CC, continuous and comprehensive evaluation. So unless you know it, how can you practice it? So therefore, the teacher must similarly value-based education. So new concepts, population education. When the new concepts come, action research, you must be oriented. That is theme-based, new theme, new concept, new ideas. Then another was your liquidation of illiteracy. By that time, literacy rate was very minimum, marginal. It was not quite good. So therefore, that illiteracy will be reduced, laying special emphasis on the combination of teaching and research. So we are all teachers. We say we are teaching. No. Teaching is a part. Also, by side, you must be doing research. For example, those who are working as teacher either at the elementary level or at the secondary level. So there is a provision of conducting action research. You must have heard that NCERT is giving prize for the good teachers. So you can participate. Action research you can do. Similarly, strengthen the centers of advanced study. Strive to attain in some of our universities higher international study. So advanced study. For example, in Ganjam, in Odisha, we have 3 ISC, advanced studies in education. One is your Cuttack, at Cuttack, RNIC, Radhanatha Institute of Advanced Study in Education. Similarly, Sambalpur, Dr. Parsuram Mishra Institute of Advanced Study in Education. In Ganjam, Barampur, that is DPI, the Dibakar Patnaik Institute of Education in Advanced Study in Education. So these advanced studies are established to not to only give B.Ed, M.Ed, MPhil education, also side by side extension, research, MPhil, PhD, something like that. Then also they can go to the villages, make survey and give some input like that. That are the suggestions. Then reforms suggested by your Kothari Commission, reforms needed in education. So Commission suggested 4 objectives of education. 4 objectives. One is increasing productivity. That means we can produce more so that our national income will be more. When our national income will be more, we can provide more funds on the education. We will be more educated. Then second is achieve social and national integration. We'll discuss. Accelerate the process of modernization. So we will not confine to our old traditional values. We must accept there is no harm. Here I will tell 2 terms. One is acculturation, another is enculturation. Acculturation and enculturation. EN, AC. Acculturation, ACCU. Acculturation means you are when the society is accepting new values. New values. That means open-minded. People are open-minded. Oh, okay. For example, nowadays we are taking the momo or something. There are different types of. It was not traditional. It is modernized. Our dresses are modernized. So that is agriculture. So that means new value systems which are outside of your country. You are accepting that. That is acculturation. That will lead to modernization, acculturation. Another is enculturation, EN, enculturation. That means you are only accepting and inculcating those traditional values. It is not correct.
Sir, again.
Some of the,
Again.
huh?
Enculturation again. বুঝি পারলিনি।
ENCU, enculturation. That enculturation is related to the acceptance and the use of those traditional values. That means you are not accepting the modern values. So therefore, that way, if you believe in enculturation, then modernization will not happen, will not come. For example, our grandfathers, they were using one napkin for two napkin. One is for body, lower part, higher part. Can we do that? No. Similarly, our way, because most of the women, females, they are working. You are all working ladies. Therefore, you are using pressure cooker, you are using electronics gadget, something like that, to save time, so that you can go and do your work. You cannot, no, I will cook with mati handi, katha chula. No, it is not. We have to change our attitude. So attitude not change. That is your acculturation. When you are not changing your attitude, you are confined to old traditional. So therefore, here education can tell you, education can enlighten. No. We must respect our old traditional values, which are good enough to work in the present context. But those which are not working, those which are not helping you to continue your life, then forget it. Had we not accepted the modernity, can you think of the kind of prosperity which India has? It could have been possible. So it is not possible. So therefore, we call it demonstration effect. Demonstrating. In Odia, we call it yar dekhi, tahar dekhi, chhota botala mo down akhi. That means when I see that somebody is using this, then I am using this. That way, our values are changing. But one thing is, I must say categorically, you accept the new values, the Western values, which is not indigenous, which is not your Indian. But that value should not bring any conflict. If that value brings conflicting situation in your country, in your nation, then don't accept. So some of the values which are very much essential, which are modern things, that we must accept anyhow. Modernization. Then fourth objective of education is cultivation of social, moral, and spiritual values. According to your Swami Vivekananda, man is essentially a divine perfection. Every man, you or my, any XYZ. So divine perfection, that divinity is to be accepted, that divinity is to be maintained, and that divinity, one should be aware of that divinity. When I am going to commit any blunder, any error, so I must not forget that I am a divine man. I am a part of, because that God, I am a part from that God. I am a part of that God. God is divine. So as a divine, I am from that God. I am also divine. So why should I go for doing the bad thing? Therefore, it should be there. So education and productivity, that was the first aim. So education should, the programs needed to relate education to productivity are science, emphasis should be given on science education, work experience, vocational education, manual works, like that. Then another aim of education as suggested by Kothari Commission is your social and national integration, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam integration. When we forget the narrow feeling, we are Odia, they are Punjabi, we have a rich culture, they have a poor culture, our language is better than Punjabi. No, that is not like that. We are all Indians, humanity. So therefore, that can be possible when there is a common school. Common school means When there is common school, there will be no disparity between rich and poor. For example, you are a rich fellow, you are sending your child to English medium school, very good dress, good suit, something like that. But I am a poor boy. My father is a cultivator, so my father has no sufficient money. So I am going to a non-English medium schools. Oh yeah, this is not possible. So therefore, there is a demarcation, there is disparity, and inferiority complex developed. Therefore, Kothari Commission suggested a common school. So everybody should go to one school. No English medium, CBSE pattern, ICSE pattern, Navodaya pattern. No, one school, so that everybody will feel dignified. Then social, national service, NSS, some social work activity. When you are participating, you will have a different values, tolerance, understanding each other, like that. Language policy, because sometimes because of, for example, the south part, Tamil Nadu, Andhra, Kerala, something, they do not accept Hindi as an official language. They should come, why not English? There are some anyhow. So proper language should be accepted, so that when officially a language is declared, then there will be no problem. Hindi has been accepted as the official language. Education in modernization. We cannot stick to the old traditional values. We must progress, and we must accept the new ways of the new mode of behavior. So therefore, education can bring that awareness. Yes, if we want to go ahead, if our country has to make progress, then we have to make use of science. We have to make use of technology. We have to. Our agriculture should not be based upon the old traditional way. So we have to make use of science, use of manures, use of tractor, use of this, like that. Similarly, social, moral values.
Sir, hello.
So
Sir, Hindi is not national language, sir.
Hindi is official language.
No,
National
this is not national language, sir. Hindi. There are 23 national language. No, sir.
National language.
No, sir. Hindi is not national language, sir.
No.
Hindi is the one of the national language, but not national language.
No. Hindi has been accepted as the official language.
No, sir. This is wrong, sir. Hindi is not national language.
Kothari Commission has suggested.
But as per constitution, Hindi is not national language. 17 languages are.
Then how can you, unless a particular language has been accepted as an official language or national language, how can you combine
Yes, sir.
yourself?
22 is our official language, not Hindi.
Now 23.
Hindi
Now
is
23. Now
No.
23 is a national language which is granted by constitution.
Which act?
Okay. For example, Odia is a national language. Chandan?
Yes,
Odia
yes.
is a national language, yes or no?
Yes, national language.
Now, if you go to Kerala and you talk Odia, can anyone understand it?
No, if I
Then-
go to Kerala and I talk in Hindi, they can't understand.
Now, English can. So English and Hindi are given more. This is regional language. So therefore, at
No,
the
sir,
national
this
level,
is-
how can you
this-
function? So therefore,
is-
officially,
these are-
it was declared. Whether you accept or you do not accept, Radha Krishna Commission, your Kothari Commission has said like that. So unless we have a common agreement on the issue of language, there will be quarrel. So, and on the basis of language, we will be divided. If we do not accept, and then the whole nation will be divided. So that is how Hindi was accepted. Anyhow, then social, moral, and spiritual values. Education should aim at not imparting knowledge, but also developing social values. For example, cooperation. How to cooperate, how to feel for others, fellow feeling, love. Similarly, moral values, which is correct, which is not correct, which is good, which is bad. So therefore, then spiritual. That means God is almighty. Therefore, we have a morning prayer, something like that. So therefore, social, moral, and spiritual values should be developed. Then structure and quality. Regarding the commission recommended new education structure like 1 to 3 year of preschool education. Now, for example, National Education Policy 2020, it talks about 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4. School education. 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4. Now, what they have thought that these 3 years, the preschooling of 2 or 3 years, that is not sufficient to prepare the child to go to school. Therefore, class 1, so-called class 1 and class 2, they have come under the banner of that is your foundational. That is the foundation for the child. The National Education Policy. Anyhow, so but Kothari Commission said 1 to 3 years of preschool education, a 10-year period of general education, that is plus 2. A higher secondary stage 2 years, plus 2, 11, 12. A higher education stage having course of 3 years or more for the first degree. So this is a structure 10 plus 2 plus 3 system. It has been told by Kothari Commission. And regarding school education, the important recommendations are like this. The entire pre-university period of education should be treated as one single continuous unit. So in those days, not in my time, in my father's time, it was the pre-university. After your intermediate arts, then PP, pre-university, then first year, then BA. Now we call plus 3. So 1 year plus 1 year plus 2 years. That was the university education. So it was there. That I will not talk about. Then let us come to the National Education Policy, page 49. The National Education Policy 68. What are the recommendations of National Policy on Education 68? Free and compulsory education, same thing. Then status and emolument and education of the teachers. What should be status? And then remuneration, salary, something like that. Teachers are the most important factor, you know, but actually it is very difficult to give the status. The academic freedom of teachers to pursue and publish independent studies and researches, that was told, but it was hardly given. For example, I have seen many teachers complain, sir, I want to go for this research, I want to attend this seminar organized by NCERT, but my headmaster says, no. If you want to go, you take your CL. Sir, why should I go? But here, it has been told in the 68 policy, education policy, that a teacher should be given autonomy, freedom. And if he is going to attend a seminar or workshop, not for himself or herself, but to improve his situation, to know more. So when one teacher knows more, then he can apply all these new inputs in the classroom situation. His classroom situation or our classroom situation will be better. So therefore, development of language, the policy stressed on the importance of developing language. Emphasis was laid on the developing of regional languages, apart from Hindi, Sanskrit, and international language, English. Then Hindi, Sanskrit, regional, it is well told. Besides that, equal education opportunity was emphasized. The policy directed that strenuous efforts should be made to equalize educational opportunity. In this regard, what is the recommendation? How can you provide educational opportunity equally? Regional imbalance in the provision of educational facilities should be corrected, and good educational facilities should be provided in rural and other backward areas. For example, you are all doing your B.Ed under IGNOU, but under Indira Gandhi National Open University. Do you know what is the other name of IGNOU? Anyone? Pupils University. Pupils University. So therefore, it is well told that there are imbalances, there is disparity. For example, let us take the case of north region of India, south, west, east. So there is differences. So therefore, the kind of education institution to be located in that area depends upon the kind of need of that area. So therefore, it should be common school system. Then education of girls should be given due emphasis. Efforts are needed to develop education among the backward classes, especially among the tribal people. So therefore, the common principle which we have adopted for the general category of schools will not be applicable. education, for example, it was for the limited some years back that the minimum number should be 30 or 40, but in tribal area, 5 students are there. For the whole 5 classes, only 20 students or 10 more, less than 20 students are there. But in that case, you cannot close the school. So therefore, we must have special consideration. Education for the physically and mentally handicapped children should be expanded. Nowadays, in those days, special education was there, but nowadays, inclusive education. Anyone can get an education in any institution. You cannot say, no, you are a blind child. We have no blind teacher. You cannot be admitted. No, you cannot just deny. So then identification of talent, those who are talented, they will be identified and they will be given opportunity for their progress. Similarly, work experience, also national service like NSS, like that will be there. Science education and research are to be emphasized. Then regarding examination reform, it says that to improve the reliability and validity of examination and to make evaluation a continuous process. So to improve the reliability, what is reliability? The acceptability or your consistency and validity. That means the purpose of examination should be fulfilled through the question to be included. So therefore, that is to be taken into consideration. So at the secondary education level, educational opportunity at the school secondary level is a major instrument for social change. That means whatever education we are providing at the secondary level, that will not provide only the knowledge about different subjects, but besides that, the students should also be the means to bring the changes in the society. So secondary education should be a means of social change. There is a need of provision and facilities of secondary and vocational education for developing economy. Now here I would like to differentiate vocationalization of education and vocational education. What is the difference? Vocational education aims at improving the competence or in certain skills, vocational skills. So therefore, specially vocational schools are there. You are going, for example, poultry, for example, carpentry. So you are going for there. But when we are talking about vocationalization of education, it means besides general education, there is the provision of taking a course. For example, you are doing +2. So you are doing +2 arts. So you have a subject like history, politics, English, history, politics, economics. Beside that, English, Odia compulsory. Beside that, you have to take up another one, vocational from any making a choice from a different vocational courses like poultry and like electrification, like bookbinding and like embroidery work, something like that. So this is your liberal education. This is your one. That is your vocational education. That is how we are making education vocationalized. So when education is vocationalized, vocationalized education makes the child, or it minimizes the employability, so unemployability. That means if you cannot get a job with your liberal education, history, economics, now you have your competency in some of the vocations. Now you can do, for example, you know poultry. Now you can do poultry. If you know mushroom cultivation, you can do that. So therefore, vocationalization can reduce the unemployment. That is the. So therefore, this is how during the 4th 5-year plan, the different aspects are given importance, like improvement of teacher education, expansion and improvement of science education, because we have to make progress. So therefore, science education what to be expanded and improved, raising standards of PG, postgraduate education and research. So it was during the 4th 5-year plan, that is 68 to 73. It has come to the experience that at the post-graduation level, whatever subjects are taught, the students have only knowledge aspect. They can gain only knowledge. They fail to use in the practical situation of life. Therefore, research should be embedded. Research should be given emphasis. Then consolidation of technical education, including reorganization of polytechnic. It was to be there. Then similarly, fifth five-year plan. The fifth five-year plan, it is from 74 to 79. So what are the implications of this fifth five-year plan? Number one is reducing the discrepancy between economic development at the regional, national, and international level. So there is discrepancy in economic development. For example, let us take the case of regional level. For example, in Odisha, which region is less development, you know. So therefore, it should be taken care of. Similarly, at the national level, India, for example, your Jharkhand, Madhya Pradesh, something like that. They are on Bihar, some portion. Similarly, international level, at the international level, Bangladesh, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, they are not developed. So we must take proper care so that they can come to the mainstream. Improving the agricultural conditions by implementing land reforms. So land reforms should be there. For example, your consolidation system, Takabandi. So if, for example, you have 3 acres of land, 1 acre is here, 1 acre is there, another acre is there. No, here, because of the land reform, we have the consolidation. So you will be given 3 acre in one place. So that for the agricultural purposes, it will be better. Improving the scope of self-employment through well-integrated program. So how can you become self-employed when you have your competence in some vocationalized education will help you. Reducing the rate of employment, so that urban and rural areas. Therefore, urban area is not a problem, but the problem is in your rural areas. So therefore, cottage industries will be open, encouraging growth of small scale industries like that. Enhancing the import substitution in the sphere, including chemicals. For example, India is giving something and bringing something, export, import. Applying the policies pertaining to finance and credit in the industrial sector. Now, subsidy, for example, some of the youngsters, they could not get a job. Now, you can give the loans without any interest or some minimum interest so that they can be inspired to do some kind of small scale industries. Stressed on the importance of labor intensive labor will be nowadays. You must be hearing AI, artificial intelligence. If artificial, it is a scientific invention, but when now the people are afraid of when artificial intelligence will be used, then it will bring unemployment. So that will be a problem. That means no manpower will be, no much manpower will be required anyhow. Similarly, 6th five-year plan, it is said to prepare individuals for assuming their roles as a responsible citizen. That should be, education should see that knowledge is given through education, but they should be, the students should be, in future, the students should be responsible citizen. Therefore, it is told, because we are in a democratic setup. So therefore, more responsible citizens are required. What will happen? When the citizens are responsible, they will be aware of their rights. They will conduct their activities in the most sensitive way. They will be aware of the issues of the country. They will not only be aware, they will be able to solve the problems. Sometimes you must have heard, though they are not illiterate, they are requesting the government for some water supply. No steps have been taken at the government level. Therefore, you must have heard, on their own, the villagers, the tribal people, they have tried for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, and cutting the mountains for 5 kilometers, 3 kilometers with the bamboo. They have brought the water to their village. That is, they are self-responsible like that. So sensitive to their ethical, social situations, culture. Now, for example, population is growing. If we are not minimizing our child structure, for example, small family norm, then problem will be there. So these are the different recommendations of like that. Now, last part is Unit 8. That is more important. Development of school education in 1986 and after. So let us discuss. Now, National Policy on Education 1986. The NP 1986 contained that what is the concept of education? How did it understand education, the role of education? That the role of education is essentially transform a static society into a vibrant one with commitment, development, and change. That means social change will come. So education is not to provide information. The aim of education is not to impart knowledge, but to inculcate some kind of or ignite the mind of the students so that those students will be responsible, committed to the welfare of society. They can think of how the development can come to our country so that there will be change. So social change, education should be considered as an instrument of social change. Therefore, National Policy on Education 86, it has different 12 parts. So let us discuss the different basic features. 86. First was the policy focused more on decentralized education, Panchayat Raj. Centralized. Now by that time, education was primary education was or any education was centralized by the government. Now it is Panchayat Raj. Some will come into picture. So therefore, and establishment district institute of education and training, and diet we call diet. So the second is making sufficient funds. Now earlier the fund was GDP, gross domestic product, that was 4% about. Now it has said 6% should be given, should be spent. The uniform pattern 10+2+3 system, reorganization of educational programs at primary, secondary, and higher education level. Also reorganization of school curriculum. So now we must think of that. For example, our elementary system is consists of 8 years. Now you look at the new 2020 National Education Policy 2020, it is reorganized. Now class 1, class 2 has come to foundation, then middle, something like that. So that kind of thing we should take care of. Then early childhood care and education was given importance. That means before the child begin to come to the school, some kind of readiness program is required on the part of child. For example, at the age of 6, it will come, the child will come. Before that, at least 2 to 3 years experience of early childhood education, or we call it balwadi, preschool education. Why? Now the child will be oriented towards the school life. All of a sudden from the home, if the child go to school, the child will feel very, the adjustment of the child will be a problem. So therefore, some kind of readiness program should be given. Free and compulsory education, reorganization of secondary school was recommended. So now we have to, for example, after our system, secondary education 3 years, then 2 years, then 1 year, only one examination, 10th examination, like that. Expansion of higher education was to be done with the with opening of open university now, or open university system. For whom? Open university or open school. Those who are interested to get educated, but they do not have facility. For example, I am working as a teacher. I want to do just you are doing, just what you are doing. Susmita, any problem? No. So therefore, you are those who are working, they want to develop their professional competency. You want to do your, you want to improve yourself. You are doing BEd. So your service is, your service.
November 12 तारिख दिन डाकिजनी
You are serving there, you are working there, and also you are doing your BEd. Similarly, for example, hey Rasmita,
खाली ऑनलाइन रे पढाले आ सेठी जो वर्कशॉप टा खाली करे मे मासु जाई
Rasmita madam.
So therefore, for example, for you, if you want to improve your how to write creatively, so there is a diploma course, creative writing certificate course, creative writing by IGNOU. So therefore you can do. So those who are interested to develop professionally, to become more competent, you can. Also those who have left the school, primary school students, those who have left, they can continue. IGNOU or open school is providing opportunity. So these are all the. Similarly, improvement in the teacher education program recommended. NCT were to be given constitution status. NCT is a regulatory body. It will regulate. Hey, Sasmita, please band karo.
Sasmita madam, please mute yourself.
So the NCT was a regulatory system of which course? Only teacher education system. Why like that? So therefore, for making education system more effective, minimum levels of learning were decided. So what will be the, not minimum means maximum, that is minimum levels of learning means what should be the standard for the primary level, secondary level, that should be decided. Then modified
ସେ
national
ବୋଧେ ପୁରା
curriculum
ଅନ୍ କରିଦେଇକି ବୋଧେ କୁଆଡେ ପଳେଇଛନ୍ତି ନା କଣ? ତ
92.
ଡବଲ ରିପିଟେଡ ହଉଛି ଜଣା ପଡୁନି।
Now, basic features of modified NP 92, making the availability of non-formal education for the girl child, especially from the age group of 15 to 35. So those girls who have not attended the classes, primary classes, so they should be given education through non-formal education according to their suitability in the evening or when they are free. Similarly, for the SDSP, efforts were made for the backward minority for giving them hostel
ସସ୍ମିତା ମ୍ୟାଡାମ ଙ୍କର ଯଦି କେହି ପର୍ସନାଲ ନମ୍ବର ଅଛି ତାହେଲେ ଦେନ୍ କଲ୍ କରନ୍ତୁ ସେ ତାଙ୍କୁ କୁହନ୍ତୁ ପର୍ସନାଲି ଯେ ମ୍ୟୁଟ୍ କରନ୍ତୁ ବୋଲି।
Then efforts provisions for NGO, non-government organizations were made to come forward in this. So NGO will come for the education of the different sectors, opening new schools. Efforts were made to make them self-dependent by imparting education through national literacy mission. Then relating to early childhood care and education, provisions were made for establishing the Anganwadi. So establishing the Anganwadi and Balwadis will be there for early childhood education. Then relating to elementary education, provisions of schools were made for low density areas. For example, where population is low and the number of people low. So some different policy programs should be adopted. Provisions were made for the improvement of quality education with the enhancement of secondary education. Now, how to maintain quality till +2, 12th class. That was the major concern, emphasizing the quality enhancement of Navodaya Vidyalaya, also quality of Navodaya Vidyalaya. For example, recruitment teachers, special emolument, so special care, something like it is there. Provisions were made in vocational education to meet the requirements of industry. For example, when you are doing for vocational education, you must see that in that locality, which industries, which raw materials are available, which industry is demanded. Accordingly, that should be. Otherwise, the student is getting the skill in particular vocation, but in that area, it is not useful. So it is meaningless. In higher education, provisions were made for self-finance universities. So now it is for the first time that it has been suggested that self-financing university. For example, KIT. This is self-financing. So privately managed. So popular that will be there. And provision was made to open at least one open university in each state. Open university. Now, for example, in Odisha, we have our open university at Sambalpur, like that. Then provision was made to dealing job with degree. So for job, degree is not a condition. So that was for dealing. But in India, we are linking. For teacher, this is the degree. For the IAS officer, this is the degree. So job and degree would be dealing. Provision was made to open rural university. So
Susmita
rural,
madam,
more
you
number
said
of
it.
rural universities institutes will be open so that we can think of rural reconstruction. Then another suggestion
host can remove them.
ସସ୍ମିତା ମ୍ୟାଡାମ ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ ଶୁଣା ଯାଉଛି ନା କିଛି?
was suggestions were made to establish All India Council for Technical Education. So AICT was to set up so that it will take care of technical education. Establishing culture bond was also emphasized in education from the regional to national. Culture bond means we must give emphasis on the culture of that area. For example, as I was talking to you, the tribal students will be taught at the elementary level with their tribal dialect, like Alchiki in the Santalkes. So therefore, the culture bond, that means the student will feel that my culture is taken care of. So my culture is respected. My culture is not neglected. So the child will participate and get admission and education. Suggestions were made that research must not be confined to just obtaining the degree, but its result must influence the society. For example, what is the purpose of research? You are searching again and again. Re means again and again. Search means inquiry. You are, as a scholar, you are inquiring again and again. Why? Till the improvement, till the solution of the problem is solved. So what is the problem? For example, your students are not attentive in your class. So now you can conduct a research, a piece of research, making interview, asking questions like that. Then you could know that these are the reasons for which the students are not attentive in my class. Now you can suggest, in a conference or in a seminar, that I conducted this research, this is my finding. Now my teachers, any teacher who has the problem that the students are not attentive in the class, my findings can be applied, it may be useful. So therefore, useful researches must be, research finding must be useful. And then, suggestions for development of languages, 3 language formula was promoted and it was recommended to develop Hindi as the national. Let's listen. It was recommended to develop Hindi as the national language. Then next, recommendations were made to include the media, radio, computer, and new technology as part of education process. Nowadays we are using smartphone or smart class or the telephone and internet. So it was recommended. So therefore, recommendations were made to include mass media so that class will be interesting. For example, have you heard the name of blended learning? Now, what is blended? Mixture. Blended learning means you can bring the different information, concepts by taking recourse to, for example, internet, textbook, experts, so media. Now you are putting all this and you are going to class. So that is, you are blending a variety of technology to make your class, class interesting so that the students can learn well. You are learning through different sources. Recommendation was made to attain minimum levels of learning in each subject. Subject wise, for example, now minimum levels in each subject. For example, in Odisha, 60%. So if a student has secured 60% in mathematics, then we can say how many students? 80% of students. If they secure 60% of mark in that subject, then we can say minimum learning in mathematics, minimum learning in history, minimum learning in English, subject wise. Recommendation was made to give constitutional status to NCT. By that time, NCT was not given the constitutional status. For example, National Council for Teacher Education was a body to regulate the organization of education program at the BEd level or diet, something like that. That teacher education program. Because it was not a given constitutional status, many states they did not accept. They did not accept the recommendation of NCT. So therefore, problem was there. Particularly Bihar did not accept. So what is that NCT? Why should I accept? Now, when it was given the constitutional status, now NCT said, for example, For example, for B.Ed, for 50, one unit is 50 students. For one unit having 50 students, minimum 8 faculties, and for one faculty for each pedagogy. For pedagogy of English, one assistant professor. For pedagogy of science, physical science, one. For foundation course, psychology, education, psychology, education, philosophy, 4. So like that. So this has been well told. This is because of NCT. Now quality is maintained somehow. Establish DIETS, City, College of Teacher Education, IAC, Institute of Advanced Study in Education, like that. Recommendation was made to decentralize like that education. Now let us come to National Knowledge Commission. Who are the chairman? You are one of the Odias, Sam Pitroda in 2006. Sam Pitroda. So he had talked about the knowledge pentagon. So what is knowledge? Let me tell one word I will tell. What one knows, what you know, how could you know? From different sources. Therefore, it was attempted to transform the knowledge landscape of the country, India. NKC focuses on areas of access to knowledge, knowledge concepts, knowledge creation, knowledge application, and knowledge services. That is called as knowledge pentagon. So what is pentagon? Pentagon is a geometrical figure having five sides or 5 angles. So now this knowledge as a pentagon, knowledge pentagon has 5 sides. What are the 5 sides? First is access to knowledge. Second is knowledge concepts. Third is knowledge creation. Fourth is knowledge application. Fifth is knowledge services. Just for your clarification, I will tell this. For example, areas of access to knowledge. How can you access knowledge? How can one get knowledge? For example, individuals must possess the ability to receive. Unless I have the ability to receive, how can I comprehend knowledge? So one must be prepared. Individuals who have the ability to receive and comprehend like that readily. So therefore, then knowledge can be accessible. For example, you have many teachers have joined IGNOU course. Only 50-40 student learners are here. That means they are not accessing because they did not have that interest like that. Anyhow, then when you have the access to knowledge, what will happen? Then knowledge concept, new ideas are coming. Then you can have that because you are interested. You are going. You are attending seminar, something like that, or then you can have knowledge concept. Advances in knowledge and its application are products of human endeavors. So therefore, we can say education is a potent force for any developing state. It encourages individuals to think independently, make better decisions, and be every stop important issues. Therefore, the issues that come forward in knowledge concept focuses on. So what are the focus? Suitable education system relies largely on complex interface of human resources, pedagogical methods, curriculum, infrastructure, academic standards. Now these are integrated. For example, you have undergone a curricular practices. For example, before B.Ed degree, you had knowledge. Now after 2 years of B.Ed degree, your knowledge is more because of the curriculum. Similarly, infrastructure, laboratories, playground, laboratory, like that. Special initiative required to bring 100 million of illiterate children into the mainstream. Now, those who are not literate, 100 million, say for example, they will be brought because new ideas are coming. Unless they are coming under the purview of this, then how can you provide, how can you say they know the new concept? Strengthening basic infrastructure of elementary school. If the new concept have to be, for example, before your training, you are trained from the diet, city or DLD. But during your time, you did not know 5E. Now you should know 5E. Now 7E or something like that, or icon model. So how it is possible? It is possible because of your because you have undergone training or you have participated in some seminar, boosting teaching quality and For that purpose, the teachers who are teaching, they should be qualified. They should be they are quality teachers. Then secondary education need to be reorganized at a crucial intermediate step between elementary and higher. So therefore, innovative strategies. So between your elementary and higher, to make a link, then you should have strategy so that they can get the opportunity to have new concepts. Similarly, requirements of proper funding. So when you want that your learners, they want to know some new concept. So either training program, either workshop, either conference, that will be organized. So that requires funds. So therefore, funds, something like must be made available. Consolidating and extending India's growing international presence in IT, medicine, law, engineering. So therefore, nowadays India is not confined to India, either in medical, medicine, or in law or engineering, something like that. But now India has created an image in all these in all these areas at the international level, comparatively. but sorry to say that the survey says out of 100 universities, no Indian university ranked, only private government I'm talking of university, only KIS or that is your something like that, they are there. So therefore, requirements of funding, requirements of vocational education, that should be the new concept in vocational education should be given. Therefore, for the skilled workers, while formal education is useful for building human capital, human is the asset. We are getting formal education. Resources must be made available. A culture of lifelong learning. A culture of lifelong learning from birth to death, from womb to tomb. So that culture should be there. Not that I am a teacher. For my promotion, I require bed. Then after that, after getting that, I will not do anything further. No, it should go on pursuing. For example, till my retirement, I was just 2 years back to my retirement, I was doing some courses in IGNOU. For example, postgraduate diploma in higher education, postgraduate diploma in distance education. I was doing. So my colleagues said, what is the benefit? I said, no financial benefit, no promotional benefit, but I will acquire knowledge. So knowledge, there is no limit to knowledge acquisition. So I must know it. So that is lifelong culture. Learning is a lifelong education. That culture should be established. Language is an important issue, not just for knowledge concept, but to access. So that. Now let us come to knowledge creation. Now we have to create knowledge. So therefore, a nation can develop in 2 ways. One is learning to use existing resources in a better manner or discovering new. So that is how you are creating new knowledge. So promotion of research. Through research we can, for example, the corona that came in 20. So in the beginning part, the scientists say there is no medicine to cure corona. Now we have vaccination. Now scientists declare now we can treat corona. People can save, their life can be saved by using some medicine, something like that. Now it is because of research. Link research, diversify the funding sources. Diversify means there are different type of funding agencies, NCRT, NCTE, ICSR, then OPEPA. So there are different universities. So there must be coordination. Then knowledge application. Now knowledge is created. What for? To apply, to use. So therefore, the creation of knowledge cannot be directionless. There is direction. In which direction you will be using. To derive the maximum benefit from our intellectual assets, we must apply our knowledge. That has been told. Now, last is your knowledge services. Now you know what are services? E-governance. For example, government. You can write your complaint, something. If you want to give your complaint to the government, e-governance, now it is there. Now, investment in knowledge services will produce large-scale benefit. For example, e-governance can change the way in which citizens of India perceive like that. So these are the different recommendations of your, that is Knowledge Commission, National Knowledge Commission. Now, let us come to National Curriculum Framework. National Knowledge. Now, that NCF 2005, it talks about different learning and knowledge. What is learning and knowledge? It says knowledge is, and learning is the construction of knowledge. Learning is the meaning making process. Learning is interpreting the information. So that is how it has been told. Therefore, there are different areas of knowledge. As you know, curricular areas like language, mathematics, science, social sciences, work experience, art education, peace education, yoga, habitat and learning, habitat means environment, then school and classroom environment, systemic reform, all these are taken care of by your NCF 2005. Last part is your, that is your National Curriculum Framework for Teacher Education. So in order to improve the quality of teacher education, now a curriculum framework was set up in 2009. It has recommended many things. For example, one or two, I'll tell you. NCT has prepared a framework for teacher education which is both contextual and in tune with the emerging concept and imperative of changing perspective. That means our society is changing, our demands of the people changing, the students' aspiration is changing. For example, the teacher has never thought that in the classroom situation the teacher will not be there and classes will be going on. So now smart class is an example. Now, so therefore the emphasis is on changing context. Now the context is changing. Now it is we are in the digital world. We have to make use of digit. We cannot. There is no excuse on the part of teacher if it is not using the technology. So teacher education is a lifelong continuous process. That means there is pre-service, in-service. Now you are in service. Pre-service means you have done your teaching, B.Ed or CT. That is pre-service. In the meantime, when you are working as a teacher, you are in service. New things have come. Therefore, you must go and attend the seminar, symposium, conference, orientation program so that you can update your knowledge. Emphasis has been given on teacher as a reflective practitioner. So always reflect if it is happening, why it is happening. Not just memorizing. Understanding must be reflected. You must know, you must work at the metacognition, beyond cognition, beyond your thought process. So therefore, you must more reflective learner, reflective practitioner. Now, education in different 5 years, like education in 7th 5-year, education in 8th 5-year plan, education in 9th 5-year plan, education in 10th 5-year plan, education in 11th 5-year plan, education in 12th 5-year plan. So all these are there, but it is up to when this instruction material was prepared. It was by 2017, the 12th plan. Now it is 2023. Now we have 13th 5-year plan. Anyhow, during the plan period, different recommendations regarding education has been given so that the quality education can be given to the learners, and when the learners are getting quality education, then it will help, it will lead the nation toward the progress, and ultimately the goal of education will be achieved. With these words, I can say, in nutshell, this is your BES-122 Block 2 policy framework for education in India is complete. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Is there any query, or should we close?
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
No, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, sir.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. ନା ତା କଥା କଲ୍ ଅଛି ନା।
आज कौन है छुआ सब जॉइन कर बेले असुविधा कौन है
এটা কোনটা হচ্ছে এই আই আই আই
admit କରିବାକୁ ଦଉନି
सियाड़ू बोधे भाबुची ताकर जो एडमिन क्लासरूम 2 वाला आज पळिछन खाली लगे दे
ନାଇଁ
सार
ସାର୍
पळिछन
ସେଦିନ ସାର୍ ଫାଷ୍ଟ ଦିନ କୁହା ହେଇଥିଲା ଯେ ସାର୍ ଲେଟ୍ ହେଲେ ଏଲାଉ କରିବେନି ବୋଲି କହିଥିଲେ ପ୍ରାୟ ସେଥିପାଇଁ ବୋଧେ ଏଲାଉ କରୁନାହାନ୍ତି।
लेट ने छुआ आज 5टा 10 15 रुपया केते छुआ थिले सब 30 40 जन थिले आ सब
ହଁ ସାର୍
एवरेज 120 25 रुहंदी सब आज केते 40 भीतर थिले 40
40 ସାର୍ 52 ଥିଲେ ଟୋଟାଲ ସାର୍।
तापर पर कटि काटि गले तो
ହଁ
ଆଜ୍ଞା
ନେଟୱାର୍କ
କିନ୍ତୁ
ପ୍ରୋବ୍ଲେମ
ଆଜି
ହଉଛି କଲ୍ ଆସୁଛି
ଯାହା ବି ସେ ଅଧଘଣ୍ଟା ଖଣ୍ଡେ ଅପେକ୍ଷା କରିବା କଥା ତାଙ୍କ ଯୋଉ ଆଡମିନିଷ୍ଟ୍ରେଟିଭ ବାଲା ଏକବାର ତମେ 5ଟାରୁ 5ଟା 10 ଭିତରେ ପଳେଇବ ନା ଘରକୁ ବନ୍ଦ କରିଦେଇ ହଉ
ସେଟା ତ
ହଉ
ସାର୍ ସତ କଥା ସେମାନେ ସାର୍ ଷ୍ଟାର୍ଟିଂ କରିଦେଇ ବୋଧେ ଛାଡି ଦିଅନ୍ତି କାଲି ଆଉ।
ଛାଡ଼ି ଦେଇଛନ୍ତି ଆଜି ଷ୍ଟାର୍ଟିଂ ରେ ସେ ରୁହନ୍ତି ଯୋଉ ହଷ୍ଟ 2 ଜଣ ରୁହନ୍ତି କ୍ଲାସ ରୁମ୍ 2 ର 2ଟାରୁ ଆଜି ସାର୍ ଙ୍କୁ ଛାଡ଼ି ଦେଇଛନ୍ତି ସେ ଘରକୁ ପଳେଇଛନ୍ତି ଜଣା ପଡୁଛି ଏୟା କଥା ଆଉ ତାପରେ ଆର ବର୍ଷ କଣ ହେଇଥିଲା ସେ ଏଇରାମ କଲେ 8-10 ଦିନ
କ୍ଲାସ ସସ୍ପେଣ୍ଡ
ଗଲା ପରେ କହିଲେ ଅନଲାଇନ ରେ ଛୁଆ ହଉନାହାନ୍ତି ଟୋଟାଲ
କ୍ଲାସ
ବନ୍ଦ କରିଦେବେ
ସସ୍ପେଣ୍ଡ
କ୍ଲାସ ଟାକୁ ବୁଝିଲେ ନା ସସ୍ପେଣ୍ଡ କରିଦେଲେ ଆର ବର୍ଷ ଅନଲାଇନ କ୍ଲାସ ସସ୍ପେଣ୍ଡ କରିଦେଲେ ଇଏ ସାର୍ ସେଇ ଟାର୍ଗେଟ ରେ ଅଛନ୍ତି ଏଇରମ କନେ 2-4 ଦିନ ଖଣ୍ଡେ ଏରମ କମ ଛୁଆ ନା ଲାଷ୍ଟ କୁ କ୍ଲାସ ସସ୍ପେଣ୍ଡ ଛୁଆ ହଉନାହାନ୍ତି କହିଦେ ଗୁଳି ଗାଳି ଛାଡ଼ିଦେବେ ଏଇ ଧନ୍ଦାରେ ଅଛନ୍ତି ସେ ଜଣା ପଡିଯାଉଛି ବା ଦେଖିବା ଗୋଟେ କାଲି ମେଲ ଦବା ପୁଣି ଆଉ ଟୋଟାଲ ରିଜନାଲ ବାଲେଶ୍ୱର ଫାଲ ଛୁଆ ଜଏନ୍ କରିନାହାନ୍ତି ଏ ଗ୍ରୁପ ଏ କେତେ ଜଣ ସେ ଟୋଟାଲ ବହୁତ ପିଲା ଜଏନ୍ କରିନାହାନ୍ତି
हेलो चंदन सर
ହଁ ସାର୍
सर मते टे ग्रुप रे ऐड करिवे कि
ଗ୍ରୁପରେ ଆଡ୍ ତ ହେଇଯିବେ ଆପଣ କୋଉଟା
ଆପଣ କୋଉ ଷ୍ଟଡି ସେଣ୍ଟର ମ୍ୟାଡାମ?
बीजेपी ऑटोनॉमस कॉलेज
ନା ମୁଁ ତ ନାହିଁ ମୁଁ ତ ଇଏ ଏଫଏମ୍ କଲେଜ
ଟିକେ ଆଡ୍ କରିଦେବେ।
ଆପଣ ଷ୍ଟେଟ୍ ଗ୍ରୁପ ଫଲୋ କରନ୍ତୁ ନା ସେଇଠି ମିଳିବ ତ ସମସ୍ତେ
कोठी सर
ଷ୍ଟେଟ୍ ଗ୍ରୁପ ଯୋଉଟା ଷ୍ଟେଟ୍
स्टेट
ଗ୍ରୁପ
ग्रुप
ଅଛି ना ଇଗ୍ନୁ ବି
हां सर से मते ऐड कर दी थांतु
ସେଇଠି ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ
स्टडी
ସବୁ
सेंटर
ଲିଙ୍କ
ग्रुप
ଅଛି ତ
क्रिएट करा है नहीं ना
ହଁ ସେଇଠି ସବୁ ଲିଙ୍କ ଅଛି ଷ୍ଟଡି ସେଣ୍ଟର
ओ सर मते टिके ऐड कर देबे
ମୁଁ ତ ଆଡ୍ କରିବି ଆଡମିନ୍ କଣ କୋଉ ଆଡମିନ୍ ଅଛି
एडमिन की होचंदी जे
ଆଉ ସେଇ ଏମଏନ୍ ପଦ୍ମଲୋଚନ ସାର୍ ଅଛନ୍ତି ବୋଧେ।
पद्मलोचन सर हो सर ठीक अछि
ଆଜ୍ଞା।